Hey everyone, so this is a reading for your sun, moon, or rising. If you want to skip ahead to any particular area that has your interest, that is like top of mind, then I would check out the timestamps down below. Also, the live hangouts for cards and cocktails, and planning to do more of those. They've been going very well. I haven't chosen any dates for April yet, but the best way to stay on top of that and to find out when those are, to come hang out and get free tarot card pulls. It's just a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a way for me to connect with people too. It's just fun. You can go check that out in my Instagram. So that's honestly the best way, is to follow me on Instagram to stay up on like when those get announced. So I try to do at least a couple different times to catch different time zones. The other thing is, and I'm gonna keep this really short and succinct this month, last month that was nuts. So let's keep this short and succinct. This is a collective reading, so keep that in mind. If this particular message doesn't resonate with you this month, it just wasn't your message this month. I would check out, if you're checking out your sun sign, rising, then check out your moon sign and see which one of those might resonate with you a little bit better this month. If you do want something that's more specific to what's going on in your life, I highly recommend booking a reading one-to-one. So all the links for that are down below. You can book a personal reading, you can get 20% off of your reading, you can get 50% off with a referral link. So all of that information is down below. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. The last thing that I want to say is there are new subscriptions that are available on Patreon. So if you're someone who really likes ongoing personal guidance with respect to what you're dealing with in this particular month or any month, I have weekly one-to-one, either live or recorded monthly subscriptions. So you can pay monthly to get weekly readings with me that are 30 minutes long. Or you can pay for monthly 90-minute readings with me, and those are also either live one-to-one or recorded for you. So those options are now available on Patreon. Still working on the website thing in the background. It has been a bananas month, you guys. So I'm going as fast as I can, but things are changing pretty rapidly. Anyhow, I think that's about all. Enjoy your readings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye. Hello Taurus, and welcome to your April 2022 reading. This is a collective reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So without further ado, let's get into it. The beginning video should have any pertinent information that you need. I feel like I've already kind of said the information a couple months over, but yeah. So let's take a look at what's happening for your overall for the month. So we have, oh, I think I had those. There we go. Okay. So we have the overall, the challenge, and your spiritual advice. We'll get into those one at a time. And then we are also going to look into your career, business, finances, work life. So you don't need to be an entrepreneur if you're not, you know, so just, this is really just about your career path, work life, finances, all of that good stuff. Okay. All right, and what are the challenges coming up for you here? And spiritual advice. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to start with the overall, bring those into frame, and then we'll come into this area here to take a look at what's going on. So let's bring these front and center. Okay. Let's start here. So what I'm seeing here is that there's too much focus on the things that have gone wrong, right? I call this the crying over spilled milk card. So just so focused, if you see where his gaze is, like so focused on what hasn't gone right, what's gone wrong, and not even seeing that there are two still upright, still full, still available, right? So unable to see the opportunities or the pathways or what's more in life because of being too focused on regrets, mistakes, what hasn't gone right. I think we all know that the way that we create our world, and this is just the way that humans' brains work, right, is just we look for evidence of in the world what we orient ourselves towards. So if we are focused on what isn't going well, what's not working, all of these kinds of things, then it's like, yeah, the world looks bleak. It doesn't look like there's much opportunity. Things look kind of dark, and it's hard for us to see the opportunities. So this is like what I'm seeing here is like the need to kind of reorient and stop focusing on like what hasn't been working so well and start turning your attention towards what does work well. Now this is overall, right? So this isn't about just love or work or whatever, or friendships, whatever situations there are. Maybe this is your overall perspective about life, mistakes that were made, things not going according to plan. Really just a reminder that you need to reorient yourself to start looking for evidence of what is going well, what opportunities do exist, no matter how small they are, looking at that. So that's what I'm seeing show up here first, right? And then we have the devil, right? And this card showing up in the challenge position is especially challenging. I see this more as, especially because we're not looking at specifically relationships or anything like that. What I see here is like the social contracts or the obligations of love, or the social or interrelational like obligations that we feel we're tied to, feeling tied to projects, to people, to things that we've said yes to that we're no longer really feeling attuned to, right? So feeling like we're chained to something that we're not actually chained to. In the traditional tarot deck, the picture is more clear for the man and woman. What's tied around their neck and to the chain is actually like it's very loose, like they could easily take it off of their necks and just like walk right away. So so this is about us remembering that we're not actually chained to the obligations, the structures, the projects, the people, the things that we see ourselves as being tied to. We're not actually tied to, and we don't need to be, right? So that's something to just pay attention to, is that. Now for some of you, this could actually have to do with obsession and with addiction. Now that's not going to be across the board for all Taurians out there, so just know that this is not necessarily about that. I usually see this as remembering that we are not chained to the things that we think we're typically chained to, right? So there is more room to maneuver than we probably think there are, or more choices, more possibility available to us. Again, I see this as like tied in and connected, these two cards here, right? And the spiritual advice that you're being given is to step back into your power. Remember your self-worth. Remember that you are totally good on your own. So if this is about other people, that's something that might be coming through and resonating with you. If not, this is about remembering to step into your self-worth, step into what is of value to you. This is a value card, right? So what is of value to you? And here, like whatever was, it is no longer, fine, or whatever you've chained yourself to or made yourself obligated to, or whatever it is, like you don't have to be tied to those things anymore. You don't have to chain yourself to things that are not of value, that don't add to your life, to your brilliance, to your strength, to your shine, right? The Nine of Pentacles is like, she's good. She feels like she knows her worth. She's worked her way up through her coins. She can stand on her own. She's self-sufficient. She's got her shit together, right? She feels good about life. She feels good being on her own. She feels good about herself, right? Remembering she's like, she doesn't allow things into her experience that are not of value to her, right? So remembering that if it's not of value, let it go. Right? If it's not aligned with your values anymore, let that shit go. All right. So I feel like that's all really pretty clear. And we're going to take a look now at what is happening with the realm of business, career, finances, So, and I feel like this one's really clear too. Like for a second, I thought maybe I might want to get clarification on this Tower card, but it's all looking really clear. First of all, there's some shit that needs to be communicated. Like you need to say some things, you need to cut some cords, or you need to be straight and truthful with yourself and with the people around you. So whether you're collaborating with people or this is like with your employees or within the structure of wherever it is that you work, inside of your work, whatever this may be, it's essential that you get clear on what needs communicating and, you know, cut the cords of like what is just no longer serving. So remember to do it diplomatically and tactfully and mindfully, right, consciously as possible. You know, like just because we need to communicate something straight and directly and truthfully doesn't mean that we can't do it consciously and have tact. So this is not about being a cold-hearted bitch, right? This is about just being truthful and direct, right? And that I think is going to clear up a lot of what needs to be cleared up. Now for the challenge card, it looks like, hey, you know what, there's some things that you might have been disappointed about, things that maybe you like kind of had a lot of expectation for that didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to pan out, right? So you were kind of like expecting certain things to happen or expecting these kind of maybe a windfall or expecting the ships to come in and they're just not coming in, you know, and there's some frustration or some disappointment about that. So the challenge like here is like, hey, like don't get tripped up on that. Don't get tripped up on that in this way, right? Don't get tripped up on it. Sometimes you need to allow the structure to be leveled, right? To come down in order to be able to start from scratch, like start from the new drawing board. Perhaps what you were building or what you were expecting wasn't really like being built on a stable foundation. Perhaps like the structure did work for a time, but is no longer working. So it doesn't mean that everything has to be leveled completely and lost and everything is gone. Really, the tower is only very destructive feeling when we're trying to control it and where we can't see the opportunity inside of it. Now, is it uncomfortable? Yeah, of course, like loss, or when you've invested so much into something and you've put so much of your time, energy, and attention into something, into building something, and it doesn't really pan out the way that you wanted. Of course, there's disappointment and it is challenging to deal with that. Believe me, like I am familiar. So, but what I can say is about that is that, you know, this affords you the opportunity to go back and create a foundation, to create a framework, to create a structure that is more stable, like something that works for now. Sometimes the tower isn't about like, oh, okay, now you have to, just get rid of your career or get rid of this project entirely and the entire idea, throw the baby out with the bathwater and just like let it all go. Sometimes yes, but sometimes it's really just that the structure that it was in was no longer going to work or function. It wasn't working or it wasn't going to work. And so there needed to be like pieces of that had to come down to get back down to the foundational level so that you could create a framework and a structure that actually is more stable and that will work better in this new light going forward. So that's what I'm seeing is like, hey, you might need to go back to the drawing board and restructure. And that is, you know, that can be challenging. It doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means that, you know, the spiritual advice is saying, hey, like you were disappointed by that. All right, let it go and just keep moving forward. Okay, great. Like that didn't work. What will work? Again, this I see coming in really strongly here, right? What didn't work? Fine. That didn't work. Don't focus on what didn't work. Focus on what can work. And create a new structure that will work and that will be stronger and that will, you know, be functional for you. So I feel like this is really, really clear, Taurus. Like I don't see the need to get any clarification cards on this. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to love. So let's take a look at what is happening for my Venus ruled Taurus people for the month of April. Wow, for some of you, towards the end of this month, it will be birthday time, so happy birthday to you. All right, and then, okay, we have 3 popping out for the challenge. All right. And spiritual advice. Okay. All right, so we have overall challenges, spiritual advice that's coming through. And then, as we have been doing, we are going to take a look at the divine masculine and feminine, the goddess and gods, the archetypes. Remember, this is not about identity or gender or anything. This is about those polarity energies that we all contain, that the universe contains, right? It's like it's within all of us. So this is about, if you do believe in deities, who's got your back? These are the homies that got your back for the month. They're like, hey, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna help you through this month. If not, then if deities aren't your particular belief structure, then look at it as archetypes that have certain kinds of strengths and wisdoms that you can embody, that you can work with. Okay, and then we have the deeper spiritual invitation, aka also the way that I think is another avenue for your guides to speak to you directly, for your ancestors, for your guides to have a space to speak to you. And then we want to take a look at also the where the blind spots are. Where are you feeling some blind spots going on? Your shadow, right? So we're going to take a look at that there. And lastly, let's take a rune. This one popped out. There we go. So we'll be looking at a rune. So all of this is going to be in the extended reading over on Patreon. The link for that is down below. This is a collective reading, so please remember that if you want a specific reading, the link for that is also down below. If you are a Patreon subscriber, you get 20% off of my readings. They are all 90-minute readings, so that's just something to keep in mind. All right, Taurus, I hope that you have a beautiful month, and I will see you in the following month. Bye.